Welcome crafters to the video for the simple pocket card. This is a fun little design, just uses half a sheet of the cardstock to make a pocket to put your card in, and it's decorated with a piece of the DSP. This is a really simple design, and your little card slides right inside there, and you can just see the top of it, and then your message can go down at the bottom. And you could put a photograph or a recipe or something on the back of it. It's a real fun little design to slip in with a gift or something. Okay, we're going to use a variety of stamps from the stamp set, the pieces of the flower, both the outline and the inset, the larger flower, the outline, and the inset. And I did love you on this one, but it really could be anything, so I think I'll make a thanks dear friend, or I mean, there's such a variety of sentiments here. Thanks, best wishes, thanks, you are amazing, whatever. Thanks, all the wonderful things you do, and there's even a for, so you can mix and match whatever you like. Okay, so in your kit, you're looking for the Mango Melody piece of cardstock and the white piece of cardstock, and that's basically what you have from your stack of pre-sorted supplies. And then from your paper, this is the one that we chose because it has these bright Mango Melody flowers on it. It's got the green, it's got a little bit of blue and pink in it. The back side of that sheet is the little pink flowers, but you decide for yourself which piece of paper you want to use. Now, we'll caution you that we are going to be using a 3-inch wide strip of this paper. You might want to watch the other videos and look at the photos of the other cards before you choose a different piece of paper, because, for example, and I could be wrong here, but if you chose this one, which is also heavy in the yellow and the green, I think you need a little bit more than a half a sheet of this one to complete one of the other projects. But if you use that one, then you could use this one for your other project. So whichever way you would like to do it, you're going to need to grab your trimmer in order to trim this down. Sorry, I had to step away there for a second because I didn't have my trimmer handy. So let me make a little bit of room here. So directionality, it doesn't really matter. You're just going to divide the sheet in half at 3 inches. And then whichever piece it is you decide you're going to use, you're going to cut that at 4 1/4. And this piece is going to be left over. And this piece you're going to want to put away because I'm pretty sure we're using this pattern here on another project. So don't discard that. We will need that. All right, that's it for our trimming. I did want to note that the little ribbon hole that is applied to the card here, you can do with a variety of our punches and or tools, but I used the trio punch to do that. It has a little notching tool here that lets you put your cardstock in straight and then press down, and it will put a little notch in the card for you. Okay, so let's set up to do our stamping. I'm going to bring in my mat because this is a photopolymer stamp set, and I'm going to grab a couple blocks here. I'm going to start with the leaf part, and I like to put my photopolymer stamps down and let them relax for a second before I pick them up on my block, just because when you're pulling them off they get stretched, and if they get stretched they get misshapen. And where this is a 2-step one, you do not want to have misshapen stamps because it will just make a mess. It won't line up. So I have those. Then I want my flower Now, I've only got one small block here, so we're going to do this with a small block and a big block. So I have my fill image and I have my outline images. Blocks may be a little overkill for that, but that's okay. And then we'll come back and we'll do our sentiment. All right. Shaded spruce ink is the color that's called for here because that's what's in the designer paper. But you use whatever you have on hand that's green that you like. Some of our greens are a little different and might mismatch here, but if you have shaded spruce, use it. You're also going to want a piece of scrap paper. We are going to stamp off before we do our center. So I want the outline first. And I'm going to do my outline image full strength. And that is just going to go right about there, like that. Okay. I'm just going to clean that off now while I have it because I'm going to want this block for sentiments. Then I'm going to grab my fill image and I'm going to stamp that off, and then I'm going to line it up over top of the other one and give my fill. Okay. There we go. All right. That's it for the, oh no, we can do the, okay, I'm going to put my leaf back inside my stamp case here, and I'm going to grab thanks, and no, do you know what? I'm going to do thinking of you. I have somebody in mind for that. Thinking of, is that thinking of? No. Thinking of, there we are. Thinking of, and then I need the you. And I may as well put my other leaf back inside because I'm going to need another block for you. All right. Thinking of is going to go up here in the top corner. Like this. There we are. Okay. That's it for the shaded spruce ink. And then I'm going to go this one. We did the petal pink in our sample, but there's also a balmy blue in the paper here. So I think just for variety, I'll bring in balmy blue ink, and I'm going to do the U in blue. Thinking of, and I am letting it overlap a little bit here. I'm putting my tail for my Y down into my U, which is okay because I want it all sort of together. All right. Then I'm going to go to Night of Navy for the outline of the flower, and I hope I've left myself enough room to do this here. Yep, it's going to be tight, but it's going to fit. Just like that. And then the inside of the flower could be the balmy blue, could be the mango melody. I think I'm going to stick with the balmy blue theme here. Now, before I do that, I want to line this up the right way. So, the easiest way to do that is to look at the star in the middle and the shape, or the shape of the tips of the leaves, petals of the flower. There is one that's got a little notch in it, And if you look at, so mine's upside down here. If I turn this around this way, this one here has a little notch in it right here, and this one has a little notch that lines up with it too. But it's very forgiving, and you know what, if you get it wrong, it just looks like a watercolor. Is a water wash is what it is. So it won't hurt if you get it a little wrong or a little misaligned. It's a very forgiving stamp set there. So we have that all done. So now it's just going to be a matter of assemblage. Just want to grab my ribbon. So from your pack, you have 2 yards of ribbon. You're going to want to cut a piece, probably 3 inches long. And then what I like to do with my ribbon when I'm fishing through a hole like this is like, instead of just closing it against itself like this, I'm actually going to close it like this. How can I get that so you can see? So instead of bringing them to meet together, I'm turning this one more half of a turn to line it up. So it makes it kind of look like a little necktie, okay? And that's just going to help me be able to get this over the top of the ribbon without everything all being bunched up. And then I'm just going to fold that over so that I can get it through the hole. And I'm going from the front to the back because I want my loop in the front. You'll see why in a second. Okay, and then I've just got to twist this around. Okay, so I've got my loop in the front, and when I bring my ends up, they will go through that loop and pull the loop over it and almost knot it all together in one. And I am going to use my tweezers to help me here. If you don't have tweezers, you might have to cut yourself a longer piece of ribbon. So I'm going to reach through the hole, the loop on the front. I'm going to grab my 2 pieces of ribbon ends, bring them through the hole. Okay. And then you can see it's made it like a little necktie, and it's got a nice loop around the back and nothing's twisted. That's because I took the twist out of it before I started. Okay. So then you just have to kind of go around in a circle and pull and work around in a circle, and that'll help pull that little knot tight without ripping it right through the hole. And then we can trim our ribbon on a bit of an angle. This is a very light ribbon, and the edges tend to want to get away. And I can't find my real good ribbon scissors at the moment, so doing the best I can here. There we go. Okay. All kinds of furry ends. Now, we've got our card part done. Get your base, and there's already a score line on this. So this was an 11-inch by 4 1/4, so a half of a sheet long, scored at the 5.5 mark. And then we cut off 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 2.5. We cut off 2.5 inches. So I'm just going to fold that over. So essentially what you have here is a 3-inch piece. Okay. And I need my bone folder, which seems to be missing, so I guess I won't be using my bone folder. And then I'm just going to use some liquid glue. Around the outside edge here. And that's just going to go right on this 3-inch piece. There we go. And then inside, on the 2 edges, you want to put a very, very thin line of glue very close to the edge. Would not suggest you use tear and tape or anything for this, because I'll show you. You have a very, very small amount of space between the glue line and your card. Okay, and so you don't want to squish your glue around too much so that it fills, goes out and widens that spot where it's gluing it. But you do want to make sure you press down to make it stick. And then I'm actually just going to put a little pile of inks on top of it to help it dry for a minute. And I'm going to go get some bling, because we need some bling. And so in your kit, inside your stamp case, you're going to find your plastic pouch, and you've got a full strip of large and a full strip of small of the milky dots. Your choice what you want to do. Since this has got a blue theme going on, I think I'm going to use one of the big blue ones. I think that'll look pretty nice right there in the middle of my flower. And that's all I need to do with that. And then once this is dry, be able to slide in my card. Now, if you find that it's very, very tight because your glue has gone too wide, then if you've done okay with your stamping, you could bring your trimmer back in, and you could, and I think I'm going to have to here, just take a little smidge off of both sides. And so what I'm going to do, I'm going to line it up too, so that it just covers the dark part of my trimmer guide, and that is just about 1/16 of an inch off of that end. And did I just do that off of this one or that one? I did off of this one. I want to do off of this one now. Or did I? Really doesn't matter. I'm going to take it off of this end. There we go. So effectively I have taken 1/8 of an inch off, and you can't even really see it. Get in there, you. There we go. Okay, and once you get it in there and you've slid it in and out a few times, it becomes much easier to move. And once the glue is dry and you're not, sticking it into the glue, it'll move a lot easier too. And I just noticed that I put gems on a couple of the other flowers too. So we could do that as well. Let's, let me grab my poker tool, and I did clear ones here, but I think I'm going to do a couple of blue ones on the blue flowers, just to continue my theme of blue. There's a blue one there. And one there. There we are. So that was a fun little project. I hope you enjoyed that, and would love to see a photo of your finished project, and whether you chose to use a different paper or whether you chose to stamp a different image. You could also do it with the smaller flowers, and there's a 2-step to that, the outline and the fill, and whatever sentiments you like to use on it. All right, thanks for joining me for that project.